Good morning again, everybody. Let's bring the class to order. Oh my, you're trained so well. All right. What a crowd. This is a great crowd. Tim, you have a lot of pressure, man.
I have a lot of people I can sell cars to.
You have a lot of people you can sell cars to. At least half of them can afford cars, I think, so this is great.
We sell used ones too.
Oh man, this is going to be an interesting morning. Well, we are delighted to have you all here. Welcome to the CEO Breakfast and Strategy Series for 2017. I'm Tom Kunkel, the president of St. Norbert College, and along with our sponsors, we are so pleased that you could join us on this especially beautiful morning. For 19 years now, hard to believe, the CEO Series has been providing area executives with the opportunity to hear from some of our area's top CEOs. This resource is being brought to you through the generosity of our presenting sponsor, WPS Health Insurance Arise Health Plan. Our title sponsors are Whiffley, Insight Publications, Johnson Bank, Johnson Insurance, and the sponsor of this session, Bank Mutual. Please take the folders at your place with you when you go and take a little time to review the information inside if you would. We'd appreciate it, and our sponsors would also. At this time, I'm delighted to introduce my friend and colleague, Father Roland DePoe, who is the chaplain of the St. Norbert College Alumni Board, to make this legit. Father DePoe. Yeah, pray for Tim.
Thank you, Tom. Almighty Father, you have called us to live a life of fidelity, commitment, and dedication to the highest ideals. We live not only for ourselves, but for a wider, broader community of our fellow human beings as we journey through life together. We are privileged to have been chosen to use our talents and special gifts for the communities we live in and serve, and also for the global community itself. The Lord, as an example for us, said, "I have come to serve, not to be served." It is in imitation of him that we serve one another. Help us to remember that earthly prestige or advantage is no guarantee of truth or right. Actually, they may work to the contrary. Give us the vision to work for the benefit of all. Lord, we ask you to bless those gathered here this morning who have recognized and responded to the call to the highest levels of service. Bless their efforts abundantly, and bless all of us and the food we share through your goodness. We ask all of this in your holy name. Amen.
Enjoy your breakfast, everybody. We'll be back with the program in a few minutes. Morning again, everybody. Hope you've enjoyed your breakfast. Well, it's a real pleasure and a genuine pleasure for me to introduce this morning's guest, my friend and colleague, Tim Bergstrom. Tim, as I think you all know, is the President and Chief Operating Officer of Bergstrom Automotive, a Wisconsin institution headquartered right here in Neenah. The company owns and operates 32 automotive locations representing all major brands sold in America, and it is one of the 50 largest automotive groups in the United States, with sales in excess of $1 billion and with over 1,600 employees right here in the state. In 2015, the company was recognized as one of the top 5 automotive companies to work for. Tim has taken a leadership role in driving culture at the institution and the guest experience to the forefront of the automotive sector. He's a graduate of Marquette University's School of Business. He serves on a lot of boards, including ThedaCare, the Fox Cities Performing Arts Center, and Marquette University, and he is a presidential appointee of the BMW North America Dealer Board. He's the immediate past chair of the board and current chair of the Leadership Council of the United Way Fox Cities. I also want to say, and I'm sure Tim will mention this, but we're all thinking of Tim's dad, and he's doing great down in Texas, so we're delighted to hear that. Really pleased to have you with us this morning, Mr. Tim Bergstrom. Tim.
All right, let's see if we can do it this way. Am I live? Can everybody hear me good? Everybody in the corner, can you hear me as well? All right, no, I heard a no. One more time, there we go. Do I have to look down to do this? This is gonna be tough. Let's give it a shot like that. Can you hear me in the corner now? All right, we're gonna go this way. I'll stand here. I'll hold it. How am I doing so far? What a great start. It should be on. All right, now we switch it back. Hey! Can everybody hear me? Good. All right. Clicker, is it? Pull the curtain. Thank you. All right, so how's that for a great start? Thank you for bringing up my father. Just as a heads up, I'm pleased to tell you that he's right on plan. So my father's doing great. He's in great hands, and he's done with his chemo. Surgery is coming up here in a few weeks. He'll be home on plan prior to April. So I feel like it went out again. There we go. Should I just be louder? Let's do this. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me in the back corner? I'm more comfortable doing it this way anyways. So Dad's doing great. He's going to be home before April. We're very excited about that. Tom keeps mentioning it's a big crowd today. And as I look around, I figured out why. Our team, our company, we're highly leveraged. A lot of bankers in the room here, and I'm sure but you could help us with this and visit our stores, buy a couple cars. We'd appreciate that. My dad would appreciate that. He's still paying very close attention to all of our numbers and pushing us forward. But no, today I'm not here to entertain you. Hopefully I get a couple chuckles out of you or out of you. But the real goal today is maybe to at least pique some interest in thinking about a change for yourself. Maybe a couple learning moments where you can take this away. And what I'd like to do is talk about our team and share what our team has done the last couple of years. We have a fun past, a neat past, and it's awkward to be talking after you get a bio like this. I think John Hogarty wrote it, or my mom, or my dad. What I'd rather do is talk about our team here. But my father and my uncle started our business with one thing that they were going to do. They were always going to focus on the guest. Okay, their first business was in the hospitality business, and they were serving drinks. And when they were sliding the drinks across the bar, it was the same drink that everybody else had, and it was the same price everybody else had. And how were they going to differentiate themselves? They were going to do it by two things. Anyone know what those two things were?
Knowing people's names.
They were going to know everybody's name, and they were going to treat them, and they were going to know their drink. So from that learning experience where they were successful, over time we got into the car business. And in 1982, we started with a single-point Chevy store. When I say we, it's an interesting deal because I was 7 years old. But, whoa. We're going to go like that. So, with that, our quest and mission has been at Bergstrom Automotive to always deliver amazing guest service. And we've stayed true to that from the start. And today is a little bit of how things have changed and social connections. So watching my father and my uncle lead, we started with that dealership up in the corner, and it was 32 team members, and they knew everybody. They were close to them, and they got to know them quite well. And I loved going to watch my uncle play softball with his teammates, and there was this interconnectivity. And things have changed in today's world. How many of you in this room right now think you have so much time on your hands that you have time you can waste? I mean, really, everywhere we go, I was at a Theta Care meeting, and the doctors were talking about how busy they were, and I was at a Marquette University meeting yesterday, and the teachers were saying that how short they are on time, and everybody's pulling at them. And in our business, our team is always, and when you look left and right, all of you are busy people. I mean, you're probably questioning why you're here this morning because you're hoping that maybe there's something that's coming from this soon. But if you go back to 1982, they were on bowling teams, they were on baseball teams. And so how many of you today have somebody that you bowl with, that you work with, or somebody that you play any kind of team sport with? Show of hands. So you Mike, what do you do?
I actually bowled last night with somebody over there.
In a league?
Not terrible.
In a league?
Yes.
In a league, all right. Any other league? Okay. And what sport?
Soccer.
Soccer? Good for you. That's awesome. All right, anybody else?
Bowling.
Bowling? All right. And how much?
Trap.
Trap. Okay. So out of a team, I think we have 200 attendees or 250 attendees. We got 4 people that currently do some sort of league thing with. All right. So now, show of hands. How many of you are on some form of social media? There's been a shift, right? There's been a shift. So statistically, 95% of the people that have an email address to 98% of the people are on some form of social media. Okay, so I want you to keep that fact. So as we go forward, you heard it, we have 32 locations, 35 brands. Every brand sold in America, we sell. But we are one team. And how do you make sure that you stay one team when we're not bowling together, when we're not having those bonds together? We got 1,600 team members, $1 billion in sales, you heard that. And we have 20,000 guest interactions in a week that's interacting with our team. So what's developed and what happened is a thing called Be Pride for us. And we didn't know what we were doing, but right after '08, when the recession hit, everybody was trying to come, find their feet, put their feet back underneath them, right? And one thing that my father has always done with John Hogarty and myself is we do a thing called a look and learn. We go and visit the East Coast and the West Coast. And we go try and steal ideas, good ideas, and bring them back. That'll help us do what? Further our mission of taking great care of our guests. So in doing that, we came back after that, and this social media thing was strong, and Dad was saying, I'm not good at this. This isn't my strength, but I know that there's a shift coming. He's a wildly smart man. Anyone that knows him knows that. And so he said, try and learn some more. So we took a team out to Seattle. And when we were out in Seattle, we started talking to a man named John Holt, who was in the car business, really a smart man when it came to social media. And so let's just do a little participation again, okay? So when you first started in business, everyone in this room, and we're all in different age groups, but I understand that. When you first started in the business, how many of you wrote a letter on a regular basis, at least once a week, typed up a letter to somebody that you were working with or one of your partners? Show of hands. All right. So now, how many of you wrote a letter this week? Okay, so it's a smaller group, obviously. And his message was, things are changing. And as things are changing, he was saying communication is changing. And the internet was kind of strong then. We were all starting to write email and start using email, but we didn't have all this noise in email like we do today, all this extra stuff that comes through it. So it was actually a pretty good medium. We had made that shift. And I came back from this, and I had really 2 opposing things. I saw my father using an iPad, working on his contact management, and I saw one of our other leaders using a Rolodex trying to figure out who we should call. And I thought, we need to always be relevant, and I need to listen to this. So what we then did at that point is we started, I'll give you one other thing. We had just gotten done with a conference, and the speaker at the conference was saying, how do we get the most out of your team? And he was pushing, saying, you got to make sure you use every minute because everybody's short of time. How do you get efficiencies? And so he would walk through his dealership, and he'd walk through his offices. And if anybody was on a different website, he would sit down, talk to them, and lecture them about it. And I thought to myself, that's not how Dad ever managed me. That's not how we want to manage our team. We're family. It just didn't fit for us. And so the more we talked about it, the more we said, well, we got to figure out where we're going. So with social media, this has developed, it's played. The first time I went on it, I was not a fan of Facebook. It scared me because what? Facebook is where everybody tells you where they're having breakfast and what's wrong with the world or wrong with the day, right? But it's a tool if you stand back and look at it, and a tool for communication with busy lives. And so we took this step and started playing with it, and I was so scared to do it, I went on as Cooper my dog. So my first name was Cooper, my last name was my dog. And if you look at my email address on Facebook today, it still says Cooper my dog because I don't know how to fix it. But a beautiful thing started happening. We started engaging with our team. I started engaging with our team. And here I thought this is going to be this great thing where I'm going to make an impact, start communicating with our team. And yes, that was happening, but a better thing happened. So this man, Stanley McChrystal, wrote a book, Team of Teams. If you haven't read it, you have two options. You can go home and order it to read it because it's going to impact you, or you can become my Facebook friend. My rule on Facebook is once I've met you or once we've been in something like this, you can become my friend and then send me a message. I've got a bunch of these books, I'll send you one. But his theory was pretty simple. The traditional was top down. And it still works in a lot of ways, and it worked when we were a smaller company. And I mean, I was so proud to watch my dad lead. He knew all of his, and he still does. He knows everybody. He shakes their hand, asks them how their weekend was, and his tight team is tight to him. I mean, they're so loyal. It's incredible. But then in today, when you have 1,600, things need to shift. And I was trying to use the top-down myself where I thought I needed to visit. You know, we have 50 different rooftops among these 32 dealerships. And how do you get to every place, visit all of them, write enough notes, and make it work? And so they kind of came together, and all of a sudden our team took over. And they started sharing our culture. Our culture is pretty simple. We're going to do what's right for the guest, and there's 11 values on how we take care of our guests. And those 11 values, as much as I want to preach, it doesn't work with me just trying to preach it. They get sick of listening to me, and 1,600 people, how do you do it? But with this, all of a sudden, you have everybody kind of teaching each other and caring about each other. And bonds start to create and start to happen at work. And so I look back on our journey, and it's been a journey, it's been a fun ride, we're not done with it. But every one of our general managers now, so of these dealerships, we have a general manager at each one of them, is now on Facebook. And when we started this, most of them weren't. We don't want to do what the kids are doing or whatever, the bad stuff. But when we realized it was a tool, you get sucked in, you see what's happening out there. And so many of you that raised your hand on social media are still using it as a tool to communicate with your family and that. But as leaders, you can invite your team to start getting connected at work and sharing the culture. And here's another positive. Orientation last week. I was speaking at the orientation. I said, show of hands, how many of you were referred by somebody that works in our company? Over half the people raised their hand. I mean, for us, that's a beautiful thing because they're the best filter, your team is. Because if you're hiring positive people, because we'll tell you time and time again in our company, the number one asset we want to hire is a positive person. You know, Eeyore is a great guy. We love Eeyore. He can be one of your friends. But Eeyore takes energy out of the room. He doesn't help you win, or she doesn't help you win. And so here, all of a sudden, you have your team helping be a filter. And the number one thing we tell them is just make sure that it's somebody you'd want to recommend and refer and bring in. And in today's world, it's so easy to write a resume. It's so easy to be out there looking for a job or be on LinkedIn. So in that interview that you do, you really can't knock off whether they're a good person or not. And so often when you're trying to build your team or grow, you can have that miss. And that one miss is costly in dollars, but more costly in culture. And so all of a sudden it opens up this connectivity where everybody's kind of policing each other, everybody's encouraging each other. And you start having amazing things happen. I remember the first time I walked into our central accounting office, and a young lady that was having a difficult time, she had just started with us, And she gave me kind of attitude. I think you all, and she was having a bad day. And I accepted it, and I said I felt sorry for her, and her family was in my thoughts and prayers. I knew that her mom had just died. If I didn't have that ability of our team, and what Facebook made it relevant to me, because I have these other friends at work that had all made comment and brought it up to me saying, wow, this is somebody we should care about. And so it was really a cool moment for us to connect. And in a world of top-down where you don't get to know your team, you might not have that same connectivity, and now you're trying to find somebody new. And guess what? Every one of us has something that goes rough in our day, or in our lives. I mean, everybody's going through a challenge at some point. And if you're able to understand that, the people you try and hire, they're in a good spot, and they're going to have a bad day. So why be done with one of your team members that's having a bad day for a little bit? It's actually, instead of distracting us from what we do, it's brought us tighter to who we are as a culture. So we just had this gentleman in town to speak, Tom Magnus, and it ties in very well with how we believe in this intent. His thought process is the commander's intent. So I'm going to read that just to make sure everybody can see it. Clear, concise statement of purpose that fits with our company. Our purpose is we want to do business with our guests where they think there's no way we would go anywhere else, right? That Bergstrom is the place that, why would I think of going anywhere else? They're always going to take great care of us. Because it goes back to the drink. Every car that we buy is the same price as another dealer pays for it. Okay, so the only thing we offer, we've never built a car. The only thing we offer is service, our people. So if we can stay focused on the guest, where it's about the guest, we win there. And then we align the team towards that. We encourage and initiate by stating what we're after. And then purpose, end state, and key tasks are his big things. So most effective is when the top priority is clearly defined. And all of these little circles you saw before is our team interwoven with each other. And so what I've become is kind of a catalyst for our team to find each other too, because when I first started in this business, when I first started trying to follow Dad and John and Uncle Dick's steps, we were growing our stores. So we were at the time up to 12 stores, and they were 12 individual silos, and it was tough to transfer between them. But then when I had this role where I'm between all of the stores and we're growing, and all of a sudden a friend becomes a friend of mine, and then I write a comment or somebody delivers a great experience for a guest, and I recognize them that way, and I hashtag Be Pride, other team members at other dealerships see it. They also see that person works in our company, and guess what? They send them a friend request. And it develops this community that's been very strong for us, because again, it's all about a culture. So we have 11 values that we drive. Every couple of years, we put our leaders in the room, we put line staff in the room, we put all walks of our team in a room, and we hash out to make sure that we're on the right direction where we're going. And then we steal best practices. I know that Oshkosh at Wilson's company has a document. I sat next to one of his retired, is it general or colonels? And he had a great document, and it said confidential Oshkosh truck. But as I told you, we're good at stealing ideas. I hand wrote them down really quick. And so the next time we get together, we'll bring ideas like that in. And it's a journey for us to keep trying to get better. We'll invite our team to make sure those 11 values. And our team knows our 11 values. Now, when we went through the recession, and 40% of our business was gone overnight, and we're a 3% business, we were making tough decisions, and I remember my father has always been into this. If your team is engaged, if you have more than just their mind, their hands, but you have their hearts trying to do the right thing, you're going to win. You're going to deliver amazing service. And so we're going through, post-recession, we're looking at every year we look at these engagement results that my father has us do. That's standard for our industry if you want to pay for it. And the ones that were close to Dad and John and I and Uncle Dick were really good, and the farther you got from us, the less they understood what we were trying to do. They saw us making tough decisions, but they didn't understand why. And so this has been an enabler for us to get it across so all 1,600 can see it. Last night, after I put my kids to bed, I went through my emails and then I went through Facebook. And I had 2 new team members that are in our Madison store that had liked one of our events that we did up here at Subaru and said, let's make sure we tell our general managers so the next time we have a new car come in, we can do this too. So there's this sharing of ideas. And I can respond back, great idea or good stuff. And there's this connectivity. They see it. So, all right. So another way to look at it is mentoring. We've gone down this path of realizing that Facebook, social media, as well as video and websites are tools for us. And in today's world where we're all short on time, how do you use those tools where you impact more people? I've had a wonderful mentor in my father. I've been blessed by having him. I mean, he mentors me all day long. But 1,600 team members aren't mentored by him like I am. So how do we use that to share that? So a lot of what happens is we'll go through a store, or I'll walk through a store and a team member will ask a question or want to be updated on something. And we'll do a video and we'll share what's happening, or I'll share an insight or a positive or a reinforcement. And then we can share that, and it's mentoring across our entire company. So that 90 seconds that I spent on the video impacted a greater amount than if I just did one-to-one. It's leveraging that power. And so this one-to-one, one-to-many has been very helpful. Our B-Team web portal, we're a very transparent company. We share everything with our team. We share our it's amazing when we do hire outside and bring another leader in, they can't believe the data we're showing them. But we're all one team. We're in this together. So why not share the data and help everybody understand we have a responsibility to pay back these banks. We got a responsibility to keep the guests happy. We got a responsibility to run a healthy business. So we're very transparent in this, and so we started with this B portal where we just started communicating with our team and started sharing with them things that were happening. And for example, we would win an award and other team members would be like, why didn't we hear about it? Why didn't we know about it? Or it'd be in the newspaper, or we'd buy a dealership. And they say, why don't we know about it? All of a sudden, we started answering their questions and engaging them, making them feel part of what's going on. And so now with this transparent world, we're going to the point now where it was locked down, where you had to be on a computer that was owned by our company. Now we're on to a point, our next step, which starts in about 30 days, is all you have to do is have an email address that belongs. So we're hoping spouses and the whole works can engage in it. The only real printed thing that we still send to our team, other than the stuff that's legal, is a newsletter, and most of the newsletter is read by spouses because our team is pretty engaged already with us. All right, social media, we already talked about it, but we're now in all forms. On this journey, kind of a fun thing that I want to give a feather in the cap to our team is, as far as automotive dealerships, we are number 2 in the country for number of fans on Facebook. The only one that beats us is CarMax. So all the public companies out there, Penske and all these other big ones that have 1,200 dealerships and all that, our team. But the difference is they've tried to do it themselves versus us has engaged our team. Our team is inviting people in to work with us. All right, so then this is a roller coaster, right? Roller coaster, I like to talk in extremes because it's examples and makes it real clear. The roller coaster is probably my favorite example for us. We have beautiful CSI, Customer Satisfaction Index. Our guests tell us that they enjoy our team, they appreciate our focus on them. But we still, and we're better than our competition in most cases, but we still execute 90% of the time. So 9 out of 10 have an amazing experience. So just think about the fact, if on a roller coaster, out of 10 people, only 1 fell out, how'd you do? Just think, and in today's world, we understand with social media, you have a voice and you share so much more of that, right? And you can share that bad experience. And we've always talked about, we have this culture, do what's right for the guest. We'll stand behind you. But trying to get your team to do that is a different step. And for execution, that's an opportunity when that person falls out. Because what happens if you have somebody that realizes they're going to fall out and fixes it before they do, or when they do, figures out how to catch them? I was skiing this past weekend. I watched somebody going up on a chairlift. One of the little kids started falling out. Two chairlift operators grabbed a giant pillow, and ran it. I'd never seen that before. Ran it underneath the chairlift. The young child never fell. But I thought, I mean, that's a story. Had I witnessed that, I would have told everybody how amazing it was. And so when we do have people that are falling out of the roller coaster, there's two things that can come from that. You can have a very positive experience where people are going to share it, or you can have a very negative one. And so by engaging our team and letting them do their piece of it and chasing it, we can execute better. And so it's a culture of winning, of always doing what's right. And that's where, again, social media, and we call that Be Pride. You saw me. So everybody understand what a hashtag is? Hashtag is just a way to filter. That's all it is. It's an old way to filter in a new way to do it. And so you will see, we can track how many times our team hits search to see how many times they want to pull up Be Pride. And they write things about each other. It's pretty fun stuff. So recognition, when I first started with this company, John, Dad, and Uncle Dick already had us on a path to the time dealer. I don't even feel that much ownership in it because they were already on their way there. But since then, the last 2 years, I'm incredibly proud. Our team has been ranked. There's 17,000 dealerships. We've been ranked in the top 2 in the nation for best places to work. And it's an independent survey that they survey all the dealerships. They do it outside of us. And our team shares what they enjoy. And what we've done is just given them the opportunity. You're all trying to do it and create that where you work. But we've given them the tools and the vehicle to do it. Our teammates are causing this. As much as if we tried to just push it down the old school way, it wouldn't happen. But if our team creates that culture with each other, it's really a winning atmosphere. So I like closing with this quote. I'm a big Vince Lombardi fan. I like that we learn from others, but let me read it to make sure everybody can hear it. The challenge of every organization is to build a feeling of dependence on one another. Because the question is not how well each person works, but how well they work together. So you'll remember when Lombardi came to town, and we had a losing team. And you also remember he took us to winning. I think we all know that. But one of the things that a lot of people miss is it was mainly the same team that went from not winning to winning. And what he was able to do was take all these individual talented people and get them to work together, get them to do a sweep real well, but get them so they start winning. So with that, the final thing I want to show is our video, one of our videos. We use video a lot and music a lot to help with our team. And it is a reminder for me, 90 seconds. That's how long our team is willing to watch a video. 45 seconds is perfect. Okay? So today, I think my biggest stress coming to speak with all of you was they gave me 25 minutes. I don't know how to tell stories, encapsulate, and bring it together in 25 minutes. Anybody that's ever worked with me would prefer that I talked more concisely. I just can't. But I gave you my best effort. How'd I do on time so far? Okay. I'm not done yet. You don't need to clap. I'm hinting. So I want to continue this. 90 years old father is. I mean, think about that. What a blessing. I have to share one kind of fun note before I go to this and then answer questions. But yesterday I sat next to a Jesuit and he told me he was praying for me. Last night my youngest was working on her first communion, so I sat next to Father Mike at my church, so he said he was praying for me, and now Father did. So I came here today thinking, I'm in good standings at least for another week, and today would go well. But the power of using video and communicating with our team there and keeping it real, not doing video where we send it out, somebody does it, but just us talking, us sharing what's going on, is our team's used to consuming it that way, and we can watch it. We can see, and we can hold ourselves accountable. If nobody's watching the video, that's not a beat on our team, start doing it. It means our content isn't good enough that they want to watch it. I can also tell you that we can watch when they tune out. And it reminds me of when I first started writing memos in our company. It was put it in the very first sentence, or put it in the last sentence, because our salespeople, like myself, we aren't going to read the whole memo. These videos, if you keep them under 90 and especially under 45, you got a chance, and people will watch it. So, do I just hit play on this, or are you doing this? I'm sorry. They gave me coaching on this like 4 times. Oh, you made it look easy. Do we have sound? All right, so for me that was long. I don't know how many of you thought that was long. That was 50 seconds. So we went 5 seconds long there. Had we trimmed it a little close, we would have. But this is stuff that all of you do in this room. You all do events. You all participate in this stuff. And you almost feel like you're bragging a little bit sharing it. But your team wants to be involved. They want to make a difference. They want to be involved in something going on. And so when you're able to share this with them and you watch their pride take off as they share it, as they say, there I am in it, and you watch a mother, I mean, social media, one of the beautiful things there is you can watch how other people react to it. And when you get mothers that are saying, I'm proud of my daughter for working there, or I get why you're working there. I'm going to close with a final story. One of our best leaders, on the used vehicle side. He runs our biggest operation. He's doing a great job. He was number 2 there, and he was trying to get to be the number 1. And everybody, you know, if you're a climber, you're always trying to do better, always trying to get up. And his boss was trying to make sure that he kept him in the reins in the number 2 spot. Well, at the end of the year, we thanked him, and we did a monetary thing for him, and he was very appreciative of that. And he stuck around with us, and everything was fine. Well, then, a month later, we promoted the manager. This manager, the number 2 guy who's really good, got his opportunity, right? He steps up in that role, and when he does, he's crying, and he shares a couple things with me. He says, 1, I knew you guys always cared about me, but a little less than 6 months ago, I had the opportunity, a really good opportunity, to go work in another automotive. It was 15 minutes closer to my house. They promised me more time off and a whole lot more money. And my wife said to me, you're working at a great company. I've never seen you happier. And you know what? She's involved with us through Facebook and sees who we are as a company. So when he was having bad days and coming home and saying, this has been rough here today, because we all do, she was also able to say, look at all the good stuff that goes on there. We were able to actually connect there, and it was really a winning thing. And now he's 2 months in this role leading, and he's killing it. But we would have lost him, and it wasn't money that would have kept him. And it wasn't money that allowed him to stay. It was the fact that our team had this culture of pulling them together, and it came through this Be Pride. So was I close? I didn't get the sign from you.
No.
All right, good deal. So should we do question and answer?
Yeah, I'll take a few questions.
Please, yeah. And I like questions.
Got time for a few questions for Tim?
Perfect, thank you.
I just have a question. If you're connected via social media with your employees, are you monitoring their actions on, I mean, it just gets a little dicey that way.
Wonderful question. So I go to every orientation, and thank you for asking that. The first thing I tell them all was I jumped out of a 3rd-story window. I say, all right, everybody, how many of you know somebody that's jumped out of a 3rd-story window? Nobody raises their hand. Say, all right, I was trying to impress a girl. I was at college, and I didn't put this together. It was I went to Marquette, but I was up at St. Norbert. I did it there. And I jumped out of the window trying to get to a tree. I didn't make it to the tree, broke my foot.
I've seen that file.
Yeah. The good thing is I've come clean with my parents now, so I'm not worried about it, and I got Father praying for me. But the reality is we all make mistakes. We all got bad days. We all, and so I sit there in the room and say, I'm not here. I'm a very positive guy. I'm cheering for all of you. I want you to win. I'm not trying to find your faults. Okay? When you have a bad day or when something gets posted out there, I'm going to ignore it. I don't even remember it. And I mean, it's one thing that my father has really blessed all of our leadership with, is you course correct and you move on. You don't need to keep bringing it up. Course correct, move on. And so we don't try and remember what people did wrong and make it a longevity piece. So what I would tell you is we invite them. And then we also say at any point if you don't like it, do yourself a favor and unfriend me. And I don't know if they're unfriending me or not, but I can tell you right now we're at 5,000 friends for me. We're at 70,000 friends for our fans of our company. And you run the same risk of them posting anything out there when they're upset or mad, whether you're involved or not. This actually gives you visual to it if they're going to talk. And as long as you're doing it with the right intention, they begin to trust you. It's a journey. You're right, we're scared to death. I mean, John, one of his other roles is he went to school to be an attorney. So he's constantly kind of breathing in my ear, making sure that we stay down the right line, but we're able to. Now, I'm hoping they're not doing a case study someday on us screwing it up, but it's been more fear than anything. And with social media, you can watch it. And you can also watch your fellow teammates police. You got to remember, in that model, you're thinking top down, us policing. You watch others where they don't want to speak out bad or they want to do something stupid because they got other people watching them with the company or cheering for them or saying you're having a bad day, or have you talked to your leader because you know the intent, because the intent is already there. We care about our team. We care about our guests. What's the problem? Why did we have the disconnect? Why did the one person follow the roller coaster? Because that's going to happen. We know that. It just gives us the opportunity now to work with it. Is that helpful?
Yeah, that's
What I would encourage you, most of you got a friend invite from me, if I could find you last night, because I went through the attendee list. If you want to watch what we do, follow our company. And if you like some of it, steal, because that's what we've been doing. I mean, or Wilson, I'm going to continue to steal from him. If you haven't seen his video, he did an amazing job on why it's not just about building trucks, but it's if you haven't seen Oshkosh's truck video, you're missing out. It reminds you on how valuable that company is for how they protect our soldiers. So, all right, what else? Please.
Moving from personnel to technology, as kind of the technology evolves from artificial intelligence to intelligent assistance, the automobile industry has obviously
Yep.
discussed. Any insight as to really how you see that affecting your business, the dealership? You're obviously on the cutting edge, and
Yep.
with that, it's disruptive, certainly.
Sure, absolutely. Change, one thing in life, change is going to happen. And it's happening faster than ever before. So we're doing our business plans 1 year out, 3 years out, 5, 10. And when we look in that 5 and 10, there's a lot of advanced technology. I mean, if we all stop driving and let our cars drive, there is less accidents. It's proven. We cause more accidents every time they do the models. And things will change. But I also believe they still need the service industry to make it all work, and we'll be along for the ride. And it's exciting to be along for the ride. All cars break. They're better than ever, but all cars break. So as long as they're going to keep breaking, they're going to need somebody to fix it. And anytime you make any kind of purchase, whether you're driving or not, there is this uneasiness, because it's the largest depreciating asset you're going to buy for your family in your lifetime, basically. Not always the case, but on average. And that's also why we still have negotiating. Negotiating drives me nuts. It doesn't build any value. It doesn't save. It's proven it doesn't save our guests money. It doesn't. When you poll our team, the one thing they hate is negotiating. When you poll our guests, the one thing they hate is negotiating. The beautiful thing with Saturn is they got rid of that. And Saturn was an amazing ride for us. We learned so much on guest service and truly putting the guest at the center of it. But they failed because of product being delivered for them. We are at our Lexus store right now going down a model of Lexus Plus Lexus has roughly 300 dealers. They chose 20 dealers. We were the first one they chose to, because they like how much we care about the guest, to run this no negotiating model. And it's been a shift, and it's been a difficult ride, and the easy thing is to go right back. And so when you think about things are changing, Warren Buffett has invested in the car business, which is a good thing because it validates the business we're in. And with him validating our business, he got the opportunity to come speak to a bunch of car dealers. And his biggest thing is the thing that they're all trying to work on is if you have an autonomous car that's driving, and a little girl walks out in front of the car, does the car choose to hit the little girl or the car next to it? And how do you figure that out? And then where does the liability stand? So Volvo, I know, has technology, and if one manufacturer has it, most of them do. They're really good at it. It has the technology. They're really working on using technology to figure out what the object is in front of the car, and that'll be a big step. But we will see, there already are cars on the road that are, New York and San Francisco both have cars that are set up. San Francisco no longer with Uber, but certainly, actually Pittsburgh, is that right, John? Yeah. Pittsburgh has cars on the road that there's no driver in the car. So yeah, our world's changing. But that's a good thing.
Gotta stop you there.
You're cutting me off? You said you weren't going to give me the hook.
I lied. Everybody, please join me.
Thank you.
Tim, thank you very much. That was terrific, as I knew it would be. We really, really appreciate you being here. It is quite a remarkable company, and I think all of us who live here know that. So thank you for coming and sharing this really fascinating cultural journey that you're on and the lessons learned. If you want a DVD of Tim's presentation, please see Amy, who's in the back, and we will...
I'm pretty sure they're thinking one was enough.
But they want to give it to their friends who maybe couldn't be here. So we'll get you taken care of. I'm going to turn over just a minute. We have launched our Center for Exceptional Leadership, which we've talked to you about. Tom Wilsey is going to take a moment real quickly and give you an update, but this is really exciting news.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Tim, for your work and the work of all your leadership team.
You're better at using the microphone.
Years of practice. Years of practice. Thank you. I'm going to just take a minute or two here. First thing I want to do is ask a couple questions. How many of you in here are perfect leaders? Show of hands. Okay. I agree. How many of you believe you could be a better leader than you are? Okay. The Center for Exceptional Leadership exists for you and those that you lead. It's a place that we have developed, and we is a big we. This started with work that began in the New North, and so it's a partnership between St. Norbert College and the New North, which represents all of you here. And about 60 CEOs and HROD experts came together over the last 2 years to design a leadership institute that would serve all of us and all of us well, regardless of size of organization, regardless of discipline of organization, where we have good leaders that want to become great and great leaders that want to become exceptional. So it's all about the kinds of things that make that difference. We know leaders, good leaders, effective leaders have to be knowledgeable. And we have wonderful MBA programs and business schools in our area to help them gain the knowledge. We also know that they have to have experience. But the differentiator between good leaders and great leaders, between great leaders and exceptional leaders, is how they behave. And the focus of helping good leaders become better is what we're all about. Okay. So if you have more information you'd like about the Center for Exceptional Leadership, go online. Right? It's a place to be able to find out a lot. We've just had our first cohort group complete their work. The results are outstanding. We're going to be soliciting some unfiltered testimonials from them, and you can see a lot of that will be published in Insight Publications, who we do our work with for the center. Keep your eyes open, watch this. So if you're a good leader that wants to become great or know of others in your organization that you want to invest in to help them become even more effective leaders, this is the place for all of us to go. And I'm delighted we have St. Norbert's as a partner.
And just to reinforce Tom's point, I think you need look no further than Bergstrom Automotive if you want to have a sense of what character and integrity and values, when it's brought to bear in leadership, means to an organization. So I just want to second what Tom said. Please check us out, the Center for Exceptional Leadership. We're really excited about it and delighted to have that underway. Another remarkable leader is our next speaker, which is going to be on March 2nd. The CEO Breakfast Series will be back in De Pere at St. Norbert College, and our presenter is Dr. Ashok Rai. Ashok, as you know, is President and CEO of Prevea Health, and he is going to be speaking on the topic, Moving from Volume to Value, Healthcare Transformation. Again, that's March 2nd, St. Norbert College. We hope to see you there. Enjoy your day, because it's going to snow later on. So thank you for being here. Thanks again, Tim.